What occurs at the end of the season or during commercials? Coaches John Legend and Kelly Clarkson shared some behind-the-scenes information at the conclusion of Season 18 of The Voice in 2020, including one very touching tradition. Legend and Clarkson will co-star with Adam Levin in the forthcoming Season 29 of The Voice, Battle of Champions, which will debut on Monday, February 23, 2026 at 9/8 on NBC. There will be a few twists and rule changes along the way that will surprise and thrill both new and veteran viewers of the program, even though it will still mostly follow the format of a typical season, including blind auditions, competitive rounds, and voting. Clarkson will undoubtedly be pushing for her artists to win the top spot the entire time. In an interview with Access Hollywood at the conclusion of Season 18, she tapped into her competitive nature and said, "What is the point in playing a game if you're not playing to win? I'm not a sore loser, but I'm gonna try." She and Legend talked about their coaches-only rap party later in the discussion, and it seems like a lot of fun. Legend disclosed that at the conclusion of most seasons, "I usually have the other coaches over for dinner on the last night of the show on the finale day. However, he had to postpone the gathering for a bit because of pandemic social distancing regulations." The idea made Clarkson smile, and he said, "This time, I'm coming. I'm enjoying myself while someone is babysitting mama's children. Enjoy yourself, but in moderation." They clarified that Legend's gatherings are very chill and not a rave, and that the coaches are all parents during the majority of the seasons. Nick Jonas, who was married and not yet a father, was on the coaching bench during Season 18. Legend said that he was grown enough to attend a sophisticated dinner party with wine and food. In what other ways do the coaches enjoy each other's company? They will talk about kids during commercial breaks, according to Clarkson, while Legend added that perhaps we're watching during commercials, when the live shows coincide with football season. He was referring to both himself and Blake Shelton, the coach at the time. Maybe Legend can persuade Levin to join him in fantasy drafts, given that Shelton left The Voice after 23 seasons. The Voice finally hits its final note of the season, after months of dramatic performances, backstage anxiety, blind auditions, and live finals. For spectators, it's the time when coaches celebrate or lament. On national television, winners cry and confetti falls. But what happens after the cameras stop recording and the cheers die down? John Legend claims that extravagant industry blowouts, extravagant parties, or dramatic celebrations are not typical at the conclusion of a Voice season. Rather, it concludes with something far more appropriate for him. A very chill custom that he discreetly shares with his colleagues instructors. And in some ways, that modest custom reveals more about John Legend and the culture of The Voice than any ostentatious after-party could. Life after the large red chair, being a coach on The Voice, requires a significant amount of dedication. Coaches devote months of their time to teaching artists who come with goals and depart with a profoundly altered perspective, from lengthy filming days to emotional commitment in contestants' experiences. Exhaustion blends with pride by the time the conclusion airs. John Legend has been candid about the experience's potential to be both emotionally taxing and incredibly rewarding. Every season turns into a unique creative environment where rivalries are tempered, friendships are strengthened, and respect for one another increases. As a result, John feels that the moment merits contemplation rather than show. An explanation of the very chill tradition after the season. John Legend and his fellow coaches have a laid-back, low-key ceremony rather than going straight to separate tasks. No photographers, no announcements in public, just a quiet time to relax together. Dinner might be quiet at times. It's informal cocktails at times. Sometimes it just involves sitting down together, unwinding, and discussing everything but the show. Closure is the aim, not joy. The coaches give themselves permission to mentally exit competition mentality and re-enter real life together after weeks of hard collaboration. The significance of low-key for John Legend on and off screen. John Legend has consistently exuded a sober, contemplative demeanor. Other celebrities might be drawn to spectacle, but John is more interested in purpose, emotional equilibrium, and simplicity. For him, winning or losing doesn't matter at the end of a Voice season. It's about recognizing common experiences. The custom of very chill reflects. Respect for the efforts made, appreciation for the connections, made a sound separation between the real world and television. John's method seems almost radical in its serenity in a field driven by excess. The voice coaches, rivals who turn into family. The sincerity of the relationships between coaches on The Voice is among its most unexpected features. Behind the scenes, they have mutual respect and tolerance despite their intense on-camera competition. At the conclusion of a season, the coaches have spent many hours together. I saw performances that were vulnerable. Shared victories, setbacks, and poignant moments. John's custom respects that unsaid connection. It enables everyone to start over as allies who overcame a difficult situation together rather than as competitors. Fans frequently overlook the fact that competition programs are places of employment. As with any workplace, endings are worthy of recognition. No pressure, no cameras. The privacy of this custom is what gives it such significance. No Instagram postings have been made to announce it. No faked pictures. No headlines, until John brings it up in passing. Choosing seclusion makes a statement at a time when every famous moment is captured on camera. John has clarified that the point is precisely the absence of pressure. Have no expectations, no shows, no parts to perform. People being themselves. This simplicity makes it possible to have genuine conversations about things like music, family, fatigue, future projects, or even things they're glad to put out of their minds. An analysis of John Legend's management approach. John Legend's coaching philosophy is also reflected in this tradition. He is well known on The Voice for calm, considerate criticism, the capacity for emotional intelligence, promoting sincerity over showmanship. That same enthusiasm is extended in his post-season routine. Grandeur is not necessary for him to signal the end. Emotional processing is more important to him than celebrating. It's presence-based leadership, not dominance. The reasons why fans enjoy learning about this custom. Fans seized upon this information as soon as John revealed it. Not because it was startling, but rather because it seemed novel. Viewers were pleased to discover that the coaches have a genuine affection for one another. There is no manufactured drama at the end of the show. Beyond the screen, real interactions exist. Knowing that the coaches have time to unwind together makes the event feel more relatable to viewers who are immersed in the emotional journey of each season. It reassures viewers that the friendliness of the show is not limited to television. A pointy in contrast to the norms of Hollywood. Excessive elements like champagne towers, VIP guest lists, and exclusive clubs are common in Hollywood endings. That template is subtly rejected by John Legend's very chill legacy. Stillness is what he chooses over noise. Connection rather than spectacle. Conversational closure is preferable to celebratory closure. This, in many respects, is a reflection of a larger trend among artists to prioritize emotional sustainability and mental health. John isn't aiming for the final's peak. He is respecting the necessity of overcoming it. What takes place following the calm moment? The coaches disperse after the custom is over, returning to tours, records, movies, families, and other artistic endeavors. However, that shared moment turns into a mental bookmark. John has implied that he benefits from those peaceful times. Consider the lessons you've learned. Release the tension of competition. Clearly move on to his next phase. He purposefully lets go of emotional residue rather than taking it forward. More artists could benefit from this method, but few discuss it in public. Why The Voice fits this tradition in particular? Such a tradition could hardly be maintained in every competition presentation. Mentoring, not shame, is what The Voice thrives on. Instead of promoting violence, its culture promotes connectedness. The values of the show, kindness, development, and respect for one another, seem to be naturally reflected in John's ritual. The coaches serve as mentors as well as judges. That common goal is strengthened by concluding the season together. An instruction beyond television, there is a subtle yet significant lesson to be learned from John Legend's very chill end-of-season custom. One that goes beyond amusement. In any challenging period of life. Before continuing, take a moment to recognize the common effort. Pick peace above pandemonium. Fireworks are not necessary for meaningful endings. Sometimes they simply require room. The reason it feels like John Legend in the end? This custom seems to fit John Legend's personality and identity as an artist. thoughtful, grounded, sensitive to emotions. John quietly produces moments that matter and lets them speak for themselves, while others strive for headlines. Fans relate to him as a person, respect him as an artist, and trust him as a coach because of his genuineness. Concluding remarks: though it may not make headlines, John Legend's very chill end-of-season custom with the voice coaches exposes something far more significant than spectacle ever could. It demonstrates that there is respect hidden beneath the spotlight, rivalry, and celebrity. There is purpose behind the pressure, and there's peace behind the finale. John Legend serves as a reminder that sometimes the quietest conclusion can have the greatest impact in a world that is always demanding greater noise.